lot of my friends, they thought I would stay up there for days or like a week or something, but I couldn't make it more than a few days. So I was up there for like days. Yeah.
Oh, well, you tried.
Yeah. I tried. Yeah.
Top 10 personalities. This is a Mike idea.
Yeah.
I didn't number mine from 1 to 10, but I got like, I got a little more than 10, so.
Yeah, I'm not sure that, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
some homebrew, some non, you know, some obscure ones I like. You know.
I've chosen them due to the role they.
That's good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I have a bunch of NPCs, monsters, and stuff that that have different roles that I can.
Well, that's fantastic.
Yep.
Whoops. Hit that button there. Awesome.
Yep. I'm using my tablet for Zoom and I have my laptop.
Yeah, it looks good.
Okay, good. Yep.
So I just, it's just, I already typed it in, the announcement for you there, so.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. Well, I need to log into chat. Let's see.
My second stream back from vacation, so
yeah.
And we had a really good meeting for Virtual GrowCon. We had like myself and 9 others made it, so we had a lot of good people there.
Oh, good, yeah, because I'm so sorry I missed that one.
No, it's okay.
Yep. That was when I was out and about.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Understood.
Yep. So there we go.
Hello, everyone. Hey, Alex, Caesar, Lex, George. Yeah, Anna's surprisingly back. She didn't tell me she was coming on, so yes.
No, I didn't tell anyone.
It's almost 2 a.m. there, so yes.
Yep.
I'm back. Yes. I came back. I was back Sunday. It's crazy all the stuff that happened. We're supposed to have Stephen Schnoll in the entire second hour, and he got straight line winds. You know, of all those storms, all those thunderstorms, and his power went out. So yeah. Yeah. Tonight, Carlos is supposed to be on. We'll see if he comes on. It just depends on his. If it is, it'll be from work. So, but that's all good. Yes. Good to see everyone. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. I don't care about rain. I just don't. I don't want thunderstorms and 70-mile-an-hour winds. You know. So, yeah. Canadian smoke again. I know, it's crazy. Let me switch this up here. I don't remember which one I did or didn't do. Alright, well, we'll hit this. Got the new Kickstarter for Troller Games up.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, Lex, I heard it's bad there. In that area. Plus, Virtual GrowCon 4 sign-ups start Saturday. Yes. And I already, I badged you, so you're already good. I didn't. We got to talk about your times you want, though. That was one thing we needed to talk about. So, Mike, yeah, yes, it's 2 o'clock and Anna's here. There.
Yep. It is early,
and
but I can sleep afterwards.
Let's see if Carlos is able to come on with he said he's having issues at work, so he may be on for 5 minutes, 30 minutes, or not at all. We'll see.
Yeah. My voice is worse than usual getting up in the middle of the night, but it needs to be.
4-stream week this week, everyone. Starting today, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday. Oh, thanks, Savage, for doing that. I know Lady Bird was new to the just joined Campfire. Thank you. Is she part of working with you guys? This button. Entry screen here. Did I, Mike? There we go. Yes. All right, everyone. A new week starts. Your top 10 personalities of Greyhawk. I didn't go 1 to 10 like I normally do. I got about 15. But some of them are my own, from my own campaign. Some legendary, awful individuals, or legendary, mostly hated. But I got some really good, obscures. What's up, Dale? Dale, did you find that Celine stuff? I know of that you were talking about in the other earlier. Hey, what's up, Lando?
Hello, Mike.
Ready for this?
Anna says she's ready, yeah, which is really good.
I have a little bit of plans, or I made some notes, but I'm not sure it's the top 10 personalities per se. I took them by role, so I have different types of NPCs and stuff that fills different niches.
Okay. Blue Box will be raiding in eventually too, as you know.
Yeah.
It's a summer month, so we'll see some light. Numbers will lighten up a little bit, but it'll be all right. We'll be good. We'll get rolling here. So we got a special game Saturday morning and all sorts of fun stuff. So, all right. Let's go. Let's, what time is it? Oh, we're 6 minutes early. No one cares, right? Thanks, Savage, for those kind words. Hey, good evening. Look at this. Anna's back. She's still in Sweden, though. So
Yep.
it's like, wow, Shattered. Thanks, man. Thank you. It's like what time is it there, Anna?
And now it's like 2:00. It was like 5 minutes to. So yep.
And Shattered. Thank you, Tiborius. Thank you. So 2:00. Look at that. We got a hype train. So we got our giveaways tonight. Standard. Look at this pile over here. It's you can barely see it. Ton of great classic reprints here. Thanks, courtesy of Patrick, Canadian Ancient Gamer, has been sending a lot. So we got a lot of really good things, but please feel free to sign up. Exclamation drawing. Just got to be on the claim. Lurk away if you need to. Get away. But this is another mic topic tonight. And by the way, we're supposed to have another guest. Carlos Lysing is supposed to come on because he loves these kind of discussions. So I invited him. Yep. He's at work, and normally he's able to come in. But he got there, and basically he Facebook messaged me, and the quote was something like, "It's a real shit show here. I'll do everything I can." So yeah, it's really good to see you all. Thank you for the support. And Mike, how did you come up with this topic?
As usual, it's out of desperation.
Okay.
We talked about a lot of our NPCs and whatnot, and then I thought talking about maybe, I don't know if top 10 is the right thing. Hey, Carlos.
Hey, what's up, man?
I don't think I could really rank NPCs, so this is more of a 10 personages that I don't normally already talk about in the other hundreds of episodes we've done. If that makes any sense?
Yeah, it does. We all went at it a different way. Thanks, Savage.
Yep.
Yes, we may only have Carlos for 5-10 minutes, so let's sweep in and just get right to it. It's like 7:56 and start rolling right here.
I would never think about taking the floor from the immortal Mike Bridges. You let that man Mortellin speak.
That's a mouthful from me already.
Yeah, absolutely. He goes some of those Living Greyhawk shows about saying 6 words, Yeah. So
Michael, listen, it's a great day in Greyhawk, but it's even a better day in Blackhawk land right now.
Oh,
my God. It is draft night. We got 3 first rounders, so
yeah,
have at it.
We got the 7th pick. If we take that Russian and he doesn't play for 3 years, I'm gonna be pissed.
He's going to the Capitals. Come on now.
Yeah.
Let's face it. Anyway,
the Capitals pick 8th. We pick 7th.
Yeah, I know he's going to go to the Capitals. You guys won't pick him.
You
guys land up with somebody. You guys land up with a good fine broth of a Canadian lad.
Yeah, well, we shall see. Troy, thank you so very much. All right.
Damn.
With that Troy boost there, that should really kind of you, Troy. Thank you.
Love you, Troy.
Yeah, absolutely. Troy's been, by the way, what does everyone think of the new Visions of Greyhawk?
It's badass, of course.
Badass, yeah. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It is badass. So
congrats to everyone involved.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. I went over it a lot on last time, but that's I can do that for 10 seconds, right? And just say a quick thing right here. Let me just throw this up, and then maybe depending on time frame, and of course I'm going to end up crashing the stream if I don't watch myself here. But it was it's badass. I will have an article in the next one on especially Priest of Saint Benedor. So I'm looking forward to that. But it is badass, and some great stuff here. We got Norker, Sam Weiss. We got the whole crew here just doing some wonderful things. Cannibal, Puffet's Measure. So check it out. It's free. Someone put that link in chat, please. For the free download for that. And oh wow, man, damn weirdo hitting it up. Double the giveaway. 2. We'll do 2 winners tonight. All right, sound good? Okay, so I know we got Carlos a limited time.
Yes, but Michael was in the middle of speaking.
Go for it.
Give Michael the floor.
Sure.
Jeez. So I have to start this off?
Well,
sure, why not?
You came at it from a different way. We got Anna in Sweden. Okay. We got Carlos in Chicago. We got Mike in Chicago, Illinois somewhere. So.
All right. So, enough beating around the bush. A lot of the NPCs that are published, mind you, we are throwing out some of our own homespun stuff.
Yes.
But most of my longest, best campaigns have always been set in the City of Greyhawk. So the City of Greyhawk box set is very influential for me. And as I was going through it, I'm trying to think, which of these characters in here have I used often that aren't like the Circle of Eight or whatever. And I think the first one that jumped out at me, well, there's two that jump out at me. Well, I'll go with the second one, is Org Nenshin.
Yeah.
I really love the Thieves Guild. I really got deeply involved in the Thieves Guild. He was always a good foil for my players. Never ever directly had a fight. It was not a guy I ever needed stats for. He was just this ominous guy, like, hey, he has all this political clout. What you gonna do? So it was always fun, like bullying around my players with the Thieves Guild.
I'm looking under low lives in here to get to him.
Mhm.
Right? Yeah. Here's the.
I'm sure y'all can
There he is.
sympathize with that. As a recurring character, that's another thing I like to look at is it a recurring character, not just some one-off guy that you kill and forget his name after that, right?
Right.
So Orc Nenshin is definitely fun. He's best friends with the mayor. Well, you can't get much better than that.
You can't.
I love his girlfriend.
Which one?
The doppelganger.
Oh, okay.
She can be anybody you want her to be. What a great girlfriend to have.
Yeah. Then you have the shape changers in Greyhawk too, and you don't want to mess with them. They're changing something.
That's very interesting because just before coming on here, I was watching Marvel Secret Invasion with the scrolls and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Nice.
Doppelganger.
Here's my question to all three of you.
Uruguay.
In the Gore novels, Arental is Guildmaster. When does the Arental Org Nenshin shift happen? I could never locate it anywhere in published source.
I don't believe there is a published source for it because Gygax's Gore stuff at times doesn't intersect real well with published stuff, which was part of Gary's, his misgivings about the published part of the setting. So I think that you're looking for that. You're kind of barking up a tree that doesn't exist.
If it wasn't for advertisements in Dragon Magazine, I would never known the Greyhawk novels existed.
Uh-huh.
Like, I would never have heard of Gore because Gore don't appear in any of the setting books.
Yeah.
If you look in here, and I know I'm going down a slippery slope, but that's what I do. If you look in here, and Carlos, tell me when we're left 5 minutes or whatever, and then, we'll get in as many as you can for you.
Okay.
It's right here, paragraph 2, Beggars Union. Following the disappearance of Theobald, the Thieves Guild attacked the Palace of Trash. Gaspar took control of the Union and sued for peace, and it mentions Arental right here in the box set.
Oh, it does.
It does, right here.
So it must have happened just a year before, maybe.
Right, but it doesn't say when Org Nenshin took over. That's what I always wanted to know if anyone knew that. So
no, I still maintain that the stuff doesn't. Like I said, it's hard to put it on a timeline because it doesn't intersect neatly. It's they decided to go their own way with the setting. Kind of if we can fit Gary's stuff in here, we will. It seems like this is what their philosophy was, but they weren't beholden to it, which is certainly not how I would have addressed it. But
just to note that, I found that interesting. By the way, everyone, welcome Anna from Sweden if you didn't already. So Anna's at 2:00 in the morning there. So yes, a surprise. And wow, thank you for the monster hype train.
Anna, congratulations to your countryman Leo Carlson for going second in the draft overall. I assume that since you're both from Sweden that you're best friends.
Yes.
Well, I don't know him, but it's awesome.
Yes,
there's one aspect I think with the NPCs and the Gord novels is that it's only the first 2 books that are actually published by TSR. The other books, then Gary had to write around, and I don't think he could use any of the only named NPCs and places he could use were things that he already had used. Otherwise, he had to rename them. That's why you get Infestix and a whole bunch of things that are renamed in the later books. And I don't know if Arental or Gnenshin falls under that. purview too. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
It's just one of those weird things that I noticed that, when did it happen? And there's no changeover. And that's it. That's all. But it's a great one. And I wouldn't even known about, once again, Aaron Toll either, except for that one mention and the Gordon novels. I was like, oh, cool. But a neat one. Don't even say Philidor. Do not, Rexall. Do not.
He's not in my list.
No.
Not in my list.
So, all right, go ahead, Carlos. Give us one.
All right. Well, when this was rolled out to me before, it was told to me not to bring out any heavy hitters, right?
Well, yeah.
So in typical Carlos fashion, I'm going to totally ignore that. No, seriously, this is a heavy hitter, but it's somebody that I don't think anybody would use very often.
Okay.
And one of the biggest, in my personal as a player, back in the day when I was primarily a player, one of the drivers in the campaign that was big for us was actually Slorotin, the last Sewell Major Power.
Wow.
He's a big name, but it's difficult sometimes to use characters like that because he's a little bit obscure and whatever in campaign play. But what it really was the character I was playing was sort of obsessed with finding antiquities that were related to Slorotin, things that he had used or spells that were singular to him and things like that. And so even though we never met him or anything like that, he became a very central figure to the campaign that we were kind of almost like archaeologists looking for Slorotin-related things and artifacts of power and pieces of knowledge and pieces, lore about his life and things like that, which is a good way. A lot of these characters and such like that, you think to yourself, there's no way I could possibly use them in my game. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they can't intersect with your characters, even if they don't make an appearance.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They have a gravity all of their own, and people orbit around those characters in different ways, whether they are directly relating with Mordenkainen or perhaps they're just, dealing with something that he unearthed at one point in time or you're obsessed with Mordenkainen himself. Who knows? Okay. So that was a big one for me, was Slorotin.
Since we have you limited time, you want to give us another one?
I like it.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. Another one I'd like to use is everybody knows that I'm relatively obsessed with Marquesa. Marquesa is my favorite butcher of flesh in the Flanness. Although I don't know if we consider her to be a big one. I mean,
oh yeah,
she's once fine. Again, I think to myself, if there was ever a face of evil in Greyhawk, whereas we talk about people like Igwaliv or Ayuz, and yes, of course they're horrifically evil, but this talk about someone who is evil in a very visceral, very horrific kind of humanistic way. It's Marquesa.
Uh-huh.
I mean, she's literally the Dr. Mengele of Greyhawk.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the things that she has done are just so abhorrent and horrific that if you're if you're a DM, it is absolutely not difficult at all to get your player characters to absolutely hate Marquesa.
I love that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She satisfies that requirement of mine of being a recurring character.
Yes, me too. Me too.
She is so vile and so unfeeling, with no remorse or no empathy for anyone. Like I said, I've always said this is my favorite top 3 artwork pick of all time. And
one of mine too.
And when I went to Wayne Reynolds and said, Wayne, I don't care how much it is, I want the original, and he said it was destroyed, I almost died, for that. But what a great picture that is of Devin and her. Just showing that she's not dark elf. She's a regular high elven female that just has got fighter mage multi-class who's got seriously disturbed. And some of the funny things in here, if you read through this, it's a home run that you said that, Carlos. But if you go here and you have the fallen paladin in here, Ungen, just one line in here just makes me laugh. And it says here, Marquesa has approached him about romantic relations, but he has rebuffed her. His tolerance for his evil allies only goes so far.
And I'll tell you what, too, that is an interesting character insight about him, because Marquesa is ravishingly beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Blue Box!
Hey, Blue Box. Good to See you, John.
Hello.
John and crew, good to see you coming in here. We just had a really massive hype train, and we're doubling the giveaway, 2 giveaways. We got Anna from Sweden, we got Greyhawk Mike, and we got Carlos Slicing for a limited time. We're going over your top 10 personalities at Greyhawk. So welcome in. Please sign up for the giveaways. 2 choices of classic D&D reprints, and let's have some fun with this discussion. So Marquesa is like the bad guy level I love about Greyhawk. Ayuz gets a little tiring. Igwolf gets tired. Marquesa never gets tired. Right? You know? Yeah, exactly. It doesn't. She never. Having her as an antithesis is never tiring to me, just because of how. Yeah, Dr. Mengele of Greyhawk, you're dead on Carlos on that.
And there's too another thing you have to remember about Marquesa. Your character could be fighting Marquesa, and your sons and your daughter and their granddaughters and your great granddaughters, because she's a high elf.
Yeah,
they could all be fighting Marquesa at one point in time. You know, it could be a family affair. Well, they did this to my great grandmother, and so I mean, and it's totally legit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. But
Jason, I got to take off here pretty soon.
Give me one more then, Carlos. Give me another one.
Okay, well, I'll give you a pair of them, actually.
Okay, go for it.
I mentioned my main character back in the day. I ran through Return of the 8 at one point in time. And
Nice.
and after Return of the 8 was over, our characters were successful in the mission. And Jalarzi approached my main character in our campaign and said, "Listen, I am a mess right now. I can't possibly continue educating my apprentice. I want to give you my apprentice." So my character ended up having Sky the Lioness from Return of the 8 as his apprentice, who was a young girl from that adventure. And I never really expected it to lead much of anywhere, but that character actually was a huge driver for our campaign, to the point that she makes an appearance in my Marquesa series of modules as the kind of the point of contact for the player characters who sends them out to go and get Marquesa.
I'm prepping this.
An adult Sky the Lioness, of course, by then. But.
Live stream soon. Live stream very soon. Thicker than water. Yep.
Thank you.
Ship combat and everything. Oh, absolutely. I'm looking forward to doing it.
Thicker Than Water is a fun adventure, man. Obviously, I love the Slave Lords because they're, like you said about Marquesa, they're just these villains that are so abhorrent and they do such ineffable things. I mean,
thanks, Brinko.
You do not need much motivation for good characters to absolutely despise these people and want nothing more than their ruination. And I think that kind of hate on between NPCs and PCs is a really good thing. That friction really sparks good role play.
And if you want indoor-outdoor adventure, I'll be Casey tonight. There you go. Horror in the Hools by myself and Carlos.
Some guy and Jay wrote that.
Hey, I've retired it at GaryCon. I run it last couple of years. I retired at GaryCon because now everyone wants from the fundraiser last year. They want me to run puppets and then some next year. So.
Okay. Puppets.
And
really,
then
puppets?
Some. And then some.
Why not Child's Play?
Well, puppets we ran during the fundraiser, and it was like crazy. So, yeah.
That's a bad one.
That's
a bad one.
But I made it fun. So I even threw in even threw in some that don't exist in there. So, and Bill.
All right, guys.
Carlos, thanks for hopping on. I know you're coming from work. Great to see you,
Carlos.
Humoring my picks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Have a good one, man. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
No, I'm not running a Vampire Thrommel adventure. I already told you. If we double next year's goal of 50, we doubled next year's. We did 25 last year. We do 50,000 next year. I'll run a Vampire Thrommel adventure or do something. But I want to see that much up. So.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was nice that Carlos was able to hop on, for a little bit. I know he's swamped there at work, and he came on and gave us 4 of his or 3 of his. That was great. We're all going to have some more here, and we got Anna as a surprise. You a cosplay as Vampire Thrommel, 75,000. Although you've seen me dressed up at a Ren Fair before. I showed those pics. What's up, Greg? So we've been rolling along right here. We started a little early. Carlos hopped on. Thank you so very much for a massive hype train. 2 giveaways tonight! Exclamation drawing. So Anna, who do you got? Since we're doing your top 10
I have the
personalities.
Yeah, I have a first little role that I think it's important, and we can do. I'm going to start out small with a sidekick, and there's sometimes you want to flesh out the party, but you don't want to have anything major. You just want to have someone there to that you can mess with if needed as a DM. And in my campaign, I have a little character called Bent. And it was the most insignificant NPC I've ever done. He was only one sentence, like a 13-year-old lad that is with the gang that was in the Dragonhide caves, and that was it. I think he said that he was using a dagger and a sling, that he's using stones, but that was it. So it's very simple, most simple of stat blocks, and just the name.
Was he a kobold?
And no, he's a human.
Oh,
he's
human, okay.
a human lad. Yep, and he turned out to be one of the best NPCs in our campaign.
Nice.
For some reason, everybody he was fun, and he turned out so don't underestimate the simple NPC, the NPC that is barely more than not even the bare bone minimum stat block. It's just and the sidekick. I think it's when you DM you can have a little bit of fun, and he's not there to solve any mysteries or not be really part of the plot. He's just a little sidekick, and also to flesh out the party a little bit. So that kind of NPC that has the role of in the Disney animated movies, there are these little things that are just there to add conversation and be a little laughing stock at times.
Players don't remember those characters' names, and they'll feel bad when they're gone too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%.
And make them vulnerable, and so they're not they don't add much in combat. But the funny thing that Bent is, it was so bad. He's like a CR 1/4, so he was bad. But he managed to land the decisive blow on a hatchling black dragon they were fighting, or shadow dragon. Sorry. And he managed to have the killing blow. So he turned out to be, he scored tons of crits with his sling, and so it's kind of fun to have him. And he survived so long. He started out he has 9 hit points now. He had 4 hit points when he started, and so he leveled up with the party. So I think I need to level him up to like 12 hit points or something now, so he can be a little bit up. But I think it's a role that as a DM you should think about having the sidekick, and they should be more fun than kick, so to speak.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Absolutely.
That's my first. Yep.
Okay. So I'll talk real quick about the one that didn't make the list. I used them with the Ed Greenwood game, Ed Greenwood and Slav Squad, and I like taking stuff from pop culture and movies and stuff. And I had that halfling running around with the firebombs named the Giggler, which I stole from Death Wish 4, right? And just note, those are the kind of things, as Anna says, but you do it on the bad guy side too. You make an impression. So I brought the Giggler back, but they killed him. The Slavs and Ed and crew killed him. But what could be better than an evil character who you actually root for? Okay? Mm-hmm. You're rooting for him. So I'm going to stay because I had my cuss up, and like I said, I'm not going 10 down to 1. But someone mentioned to me about a year ago, hey, he's actually a dwarf, this guy. So yes, and that is our favorite priest of Hexstar, Henrid Blerid.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, from the Wild Coast.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. What could be better than a guy who likes to paint the walls of his fort of the town with orc blood, but he's as evil as they come, lawfully evil. Mm-hmm. He's got his evil halflings hanging out with him. And that town, Wyvernon, if I recall the name of it, has survived all the incursions of orcs, and it's very small. What's it? It's under 200 people, I think. So 180 population, which is really neat. So I like. I have never used him in the campaign, but I'm thinking about it soon with the Norwell Headhunter group, which may run into him. So a really cool one. Have you brought NPCs from other settings to Greyhawk? Yes. That's a good question. Yeah, absolutely. I will share you a blatant one. Gabriel, remind me at the end. I will share you a blatant one from a crossover that goes back to the early '80s. Yes, and you're gonna go, what the f? Trust me, you'll see. It'll be like, oh my, yes. I'll tell the whole story, and probably everyone will go, I can't believe we trust this guy with Greyhawk after this story. So there you go. That's one for me. Henry Black, but I'll tell you that story later on because that character's a little higher up on my list. So, all right, Mike, what do you got?
Well, I definitely would have had Marquesa on my list, but I knew Carlos was going to be on.
Excellent.
That's definitely one that's up my alley. I'm going to go on the good side this time. It's hard to not talk about some of these characters without them being big names, heavy hitters, whatever. Yeah, the little sidekicks can be memorable or whatever, but when I was thinking top, I'm also trying to think, the
right.
biggest, more recognizable names, for the Greyhawk fans sitting out there. And so one of them that is a great one is Countess Belisica of the County of Ernst, who I really loved using because there was a third edition campaign I was running, and they were high level. They had all this money. They were getting into all this courtly intrigue and whatever. And one of my players decided he wanted to pursue the Countess like every other suitor, trying to do this romantic thing. But I kept moving the goalposts on him, on his charisma rolls, and it was hilarious. I think she's a wizard. I'm not sure of the class anymore, but again, this is one of these characters who was just involved a lot. I never needed stats on her. She's just a ruler. She's well liked. Apparently, she's well liked by the good and evil, Bandit Kingdoms or whatever. So when you have an NPC like that, you don't really fear for their lives. You don't need to know all their stats blocks,
Right, in that instance, yeah. Looks like you don't need no organization stats.
Right. And those are my favorite kind of NPCs because you can just kick back and really get into the characterization of it because you're not worried about swords being drawn right away and rolling initiative. No, this character's going to be around a while. So Countess Belisica, definitely a fun one that I would use again if it comes around. But in that kind of NPC, could go for pretty much any country. Picking a ruler of a country is easy. I think that's low hanging fruit. If you want to build a campaign around that, it's probably not the only one on my list like that. But I think she's special just because she's like the anti Marquesa in a way.
Yeah,
she's very well liked and probably does good things.
Didn't we hear a lot of stories about her when Living Greyhawk Ernst was on? They were talking a lot about what she was up to.
I never really followed it.
Okay.
Yeah, I listed her when I talked about diplomacy. She's one of the master diplomats of the settings. She can be very useful in one of these kind of building liaisons, and have her as a contact or a friend could be very, very useful.
Okay.
If you get out of jail in the Bandit Kingdom or something like that, she might be the one that could send someone there to plead for your life or something. So, yeah.
Excellent. Good one, Mike. Okay, Anna, what do you got?
I have, from the tiny little sidekick, I think we're going to go opposite, so to speak, at the top end of it. I mean, a lot of times you want to choose like a master villain, and IUs and others are often these kind of master villains, but you don't want to, meaning IUs, you want him to be there, or maybe you want to kill him, but most of these master villains, you want them to stick around, so to speak. You don't want to change the campaign setting in too much, so to speak. So you want to keep them. But that means that there is a need for a disposable master villain, so to speak. Someone that characters can actually kill. And that would not upset the whole setting, but you want someone to be important enough that they feel that the characters have really accomplished something. And one of these, I think, the alternate master villain that is disposable is the General Sindel that I use. General Sindel is one of these characters that could be, you don't introduce him or the disposable villain as the master villain. You can set out I use as the master villain, but then down the line you can introduce that disposable master villain as someone that is the one that was thwarting the party and are really the nasty top dog, so to speak, on the enemy side. And the characters can actually kill him and feel accomplishment and done a serious blow to Ayuz. But he's also replaceable. Ayuz can just find another top general down the line and so on in his back pocket, or promote some other evil entity to be his top general, so to speak. So he is truly disposable in the setting, but still fun and significant and stuff.
Is he a Cambion or a demon?
He's a Cambion. Okay. He is, he's a Cambion, and I have him as a different Baelor. He's a Baelor Cambion in my campaign. So General Sindel. So he's, and so I made him. I gave him much more of a story he's in my current campaign as one of the master villains, and with this intent, so to speak, that he can't be killed. And without upsetting things. And so disposable villains are important. Just look at any movie script or something like that. You need the ones to be sacrificed, and they should also feel substantial enough that the players feel like they've accomplished something.
Awesome.
Very good.
Very good one. I'm going to stay right here. See, you guys open up a doc for me, and I'm just going to stay at it. Let's go. Sometimes it's good being bad. Another evil character. This one I think I've used extensively in my campaign. And I think it's one of the ones, not to toot my own horn, that I've adapted the best. All right? And that is, let's go up to page 91 here. I've talked about this multiple times. This is an orc. He may be half orc. So Grekton Selruk, the Torch of Grumsh. All right. So what this is he is himself a Selbit orc. So, and he is a Grumsh worshiper, and so is his tribe in the Vesvi. They hate the Ayuzian orcs and the Orogs and all. And they for fury, they hunt them for sport. And this is a good point, and this has happened multiple times in my campaign, where the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And we actually have, in a weird little twist of fate, evil orcs that worship Grumsh allying with even Knights of Yula characters and druids and others to get we'll put our differences aside. We are the indigenous people of the Vesvi. We'll put our differences aside to get rid of the Ayuzian troops. Really a cool thing. Yeah. So much so that one of Bill's characters, Bill's half-orc fighter Clark Jonar, was kind of brought in as an honorary member, but they couldn't get him to pluck one of his eyes out. They tried, because they have a ceremonial, Torch of Grumsh, like they have, and he just wouldn't do it. But I tried to get him to pluck it out. But yeah, it's a really cool one. I just love that in the writing. The Sergeant has some great things, some great little twists, and this was one of them that you could throw in there, and I used him. So there you go. That's one for me. So I'll go back to this main screen here. Mike, what do you got?
Okay, so you had I use the evil open?
Yes.
All right, so let's stay there.
We'll stay there. Okay, let me go back.
One of my favorite characters out of that book that I used extensively, with no help from Living Greyhawk, mind you, is we'll get to that, Rick's fellas. Lesser Boneheart Mage Kranzer.
Yeah.
In the Bandit Kingdoms. Now, what I liked about this character, I don't know how this happened, but he became one of these villains that my players really hated. They knew him by name. I think it was just the way I had
Kranzer versus Curious.
but just now looking
14.
at it again here, he's 5'4". He's bald. He's this sniveling Iusian mage, right?
Right.
Who's got an 18 intelligence. And all I could ever think of when I was running him was Vicini from Princess Bride.
Yes.
He thinks he's smarter than everyone else, and he's got big, ogre bodyguards and things like that. And the players hated him when I started using that voice.
Oh, that's
for
awesome.
Kranzer, right? It just kind of amplified it. So, and one of the best stories from that was so Kranzer has a ghast robe, which I believe the main effect of it is if you touch him, you get paralyzed, like you are a ghast, right?
And undead ignore him.
Yeah.
With it on. Yeah.
So
he has
that's useful.
Yeah. Very.
So I remember one of my players, big tank fighters, trying to grab him and getting paralyzed, and Kranzer just like laughing in his face, and that just everything you would do with Kranzer just made the players hate him running. I don't even know if we ended up defeating him or not. I don't really know what came of that character from the campaign, but I know he's one of them characters. If I said, and this is like decade ago, right? Whenever Eyes of the Eagle came out, 2 decades ago.
More than
if
that,
yeah, I can mention his name today, and my players would still, cringe with hatred. That's how good that character is. So
that's a good one. When a character leaves a mark and you go, "Oh no, here he comes," or "Oh no, not again," that is you served its purpose. I mean, when they're afraid of the character, they know, that's good. Absolutely, and a real good one there, Mike. Absolutely. Okay, Anna, back to you.
Okay, now I'm going to go small again. There's one type of NPC that I think is often needed is what I will call the catalyst. It's not an NPC that they're supposed to kill or anything like that. Just there with a name and a little role that makes the story go forward. And my example is a little guy called Totran. He's a hapless little farmer, substitute farmer in Devon, and the story was that the characters were at the court of in Karlstrand, and they were there. It was a lot of intrigue and whatever. And I wanted the players to engage and kind of not just sit on the sidelines. So I gave them a small little NPC. He was a hapless little farmer whose sheep and goats had been killed by soldiers of Savener and eaten, and so he wanted compensation. So he was in there pleading for his life and wanted to just survive. And I wanted to see if the good instincts of the characters were there to actually help him and not get his head chopped off or thrown in prison forever and stuff. So it was the NPC whose sole purpose was to bring the story forward, so to speak, not by being violent or anything, just being there and be kind of a bait, so to speak, like a catalyst to see if I could bring things forward faster, so to speak, and engage the characters. They didn't bite, so he didn't serve his purpose. So they ignored him. and if I remember correctly, this is like 15 years ago or no, not really. It's like 13, 12 years ago when I introduced him. But sometimes you want to have a little something that could be sacrificed or whatever, and it's not against the PCs, but something that could be bring the story forward, so to speak. Something in the world, that some creature that does things in order to bring it forward, so to speak. Someone who can be killed by the enemy,
sacrificial lamb.
Exactly, yeah. and someone to bring the story forward, to lure them in or whatever, so to speak, and still has some character because he had a little backstory and it played out, so to speak. So I think that is one of these little niches in the NPC world of personalities that a campaign needs from time to time.
Absolutely. Needs someone who provokes a reaction or gets things moving.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
Yep.
I'm going to go to the City of Greyhawk box set. I'm going to go to the guild section. One of my favorite half orcs of all time.
I like guilds.
The head of the Gravediggers and Embalmers Guild.
Oh, yes.
Selzik Gobayuk. Hopefully I pronounced that right. So, yes, a half orc fighter. And funny because he's very crude. And it says here, unspeakably ugly even for a half orc. The socially acceptability, according to other guildmasters, eluded Selzik, a guest who reeks of embalming fluid, ceases quite rapidly to be a novelty at society cocktail parties. And then conversation gambits such as a fixed glare and an utterance, didn't I stuff your uncle last month, also failed to increase Selzik's appeal. So I love these kind of characters. Now, my campaign has been around for so long that a lot of the members of higher level venturing groups like the Iron Brigade, which is the one that did Return to the Aid and Expedition to the Ruins of Greyhawk, are in positions of power. So Bill's character, his Cleric Necromancer Sale in Shadow Moon, is the deputy guildmaster of the Gravediggers and Embalmers Guild and has to deal with Selzik all the time. Now, you throw your own spin in here. Selzik, what is Selzik's weakness? Well, it doesn't say it anywhere in here. But he has a weakness for cheesecake. So whenever Salem wants something from Selzik or wants him to look the other way, he'll bring him a nicely, cooked, baked cheesecake.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll go to town on it. There you go.
That's an awesome little extra.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much on that. Yes. So one of my favorites there. Another character who's not good. So I haven't really done many goodies at this point, but yeah. So there you go. So
yeah, anytime you get culinary stuff involved in Greyhawk, I enjoy that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So go ahead, Mike.
Okay, so I know Rex Fellis is like really itching for I guess something from the Sea Princes, you say?
All right.
So the Hold of the Sea Princes is one of those places that has practically no canon NPCs to work with, right? Oh, hey, Prince Gian, great. So a lot of stuff from my own campaigns I've had to create. I could go in any direction, right? But I'll go with a recurring characters because I like recurring characters. I had a NPC villain / foil that I went with really early in the campaign when they were still low level, and he kind of progressed with them. It was a Captain Ironclaw McGrath.
Ooh. Okay. Do you have an article about him in Greyhawkery?
No.
Okay.
No, he's in my campaign. I used to post my sessions, so you'd have to go back to read the individual sessions to find anything about them. And maybe I'll do an article someday. But anyhow, just to keep it simple, Ironclaw, Captain McGrath, he is part of the Crimson Fleet, which is from Savage Tide, right? He captains a ship called the Harpy. So far, everything but the Crimson Fleet is of my own creation, right? So Ironclaw, you don't have a claw or anything. He's just, it's just a fancy name. But all through the campaign, he's just, encountering the PC's ship, and they're at odds over plots and things and ups and downs. And then at one point later in the campaign, like, they have to team up out of convenience, so it really kind of, the story spun itself like a good movie should, right? It's not, he wasn't just a villain to cut down. He ended up being someone who was maybe redeemable. He's still a vile captain or whatever, but in the end, they found a common enemy and could work together with the players, and so he's still in play, and that's why I noted his name down.
That's awesome.
I'll try to do an article on someday.
Yeah, I noticed you have a Sea Prince Nobles up here, one from last week, from last Thursday.
Yes, I slowly trickling those out.
Awesome.
A lot of those I've never used. I'm just trying to fill out, the card.
That's excellent. Okay. So Anna, I think
Yes.
you are up, right?
Okay, sometimes we need to have an NPC that is an irritant, someone that causes problems for the PCs that they can't kill, and is just there to make life difficult for them, in not in a combat sense, but who can complicate the campaign, who is really just makes it difficult and make it Kafka-like. And I think the ultimate when it comes to that is Yolande.
Okay.
And she is she's the good elven queen of Selene, and that means that the characters can't go around killing her, because that will be, at least if they're good, they're not supposed to do it. But she can still cause things. She can say, no, we're not going to support anything, we're not going to let you go there, you're not going to have support, or whatever. So she can be the killjoy, the one that kind of said, no, we can't do that, you have to use peaceful means, or you can't go there, or whatever. So things that just makes the mission much more complicated by tying one of the hands behind their backs for the PCs, introduce rules of engagement that are difficult and stuff like that. So you can kind of, and I can see you can introduce rules that the players are going to break, but then you can introduce a punishment if they break it, so to speak, or something. So you can make it, and it doesn't matter if they. It's more like you by adding these complications, the campaign, you bring out some anger in the players, and bring up the so they go around and do stupid stuff, so to speak. You lure them onto the path of evil by bringing out things that gets them so irritated. It's like you want the players to be murder hobo-y for a bit, or the characters to be murder hobo-y. So therefore you can introduce the irritation NPC, so to speak, and I think that's sometimes needed in order to increase the temperature of the campaign.
Absolutely. It's funny how different your Yolanda and my Yolanda is, and your uh the woman, the dragon and Shieldlands. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, Katarina.
Katarina, Walworth, and
Yep.
mine are, but they're both fantastic characters for both. Yeah, that's really cool. And it goes to that level of direction of, isolationist and non, and just the play style.
Oh yeah. If it wasn't for that isolationist storyline that was stuck in there, yeah, I think Yolande would be different for me as well.
Yep.
Let me go back to the Greyhawk box set. This is one of my favorites of all time. In fact, it's the whole group, but it's mainly the leader. All right. One of the best written groups ever is the Fellowship of the Torch. All right, a group of 5 medium level NPCs. Now they're up a little higher when it comes to From the Ashes, but Nastasia Ariani Nightstar is one of my favorites of all time. She is a dual class human fighter mage, lawful good. Reveres Ouija a little bit, Ral and Ouija. So she has a little bit of magic user ability with her, and she also has the first ever in Greyhawk semi-artifact that was scalable, right? The Torch of Anaxander, which is, no one's argued with me yet that this torch is not the first one going back to this time, because scalable items didn't exist back then, but this one does scale. I love them because I've been able to interact this entire group into my campaign for years. They're, a majority of good characters. She's, I've even taken, let me see if I can find that. I have it all here, miniature wise. So I actually converted, I think it was a Forgotten Realms miniature over to use for her instead of Greyhawk. I know I have it here. I have, believe it or not, I over prepped for this. Way over prepped for this as far as pictures and miniatures and stuff. But I'm shoot, I can't locate it. Damn. I have a picture with her and Mordenkainen, because certain minis came out for Greyhawk, in that era, in those late '90s, early 2000s, and I utilized her as one of the measures, but I can't find it right now, and that sucks. All right, well, if I find it later, I'll bring it up. Yep. But a really cool character, and not a paladin, and but it's a group with a mix of characters, and I've always said it 100 times. I love Grimmy Fisher. They kill him off and from the ashes, and it drives me crazy. So I undid that, but that's okay. So it's a cool group, and they are really not overly powered, but it's a very resilient group. So something to check out. And I'm on page of the Folk Food and Factions book, page 69, if you want to know where they're located. All right, Mike, you're up.
That was fast.
Yeah, we're burning right through.
Right. So here's an interesting idea. I recently ran Sitting of the Hill Giant Chief. All right. And I found, and I've tried to run it before, but never actually got through it, much less get on to G2 or G3.
Right.
Well, after having successfully ran it, I found out that Chief Nosner is actually a fun character. This is a character that I was quite pleased, and his wife, for that matter.
Yes.
Let's see, Guthra. Anyhow, the Chief has this great, home and all kinds of just. There's so much going on in the building, not much less Nosner himself. But what was fun about him was he was insulated by so many other giants and orcs and ogres. The players can never get to him, right? And so in the meanwhile, him and his wife are, poking fun in the background, taunts and all that stuff. And in the end, they run away to the frost giants. Right. And so when the players go on to the next part, and they didn't know that the hill giants were going to go to the frost giants for help. So the players are sneaking around and they're trying to make nice with the frost giants. And then when Nosner shows up again, recurring character, then I just had that fun all over again. And Nosner is saying, "Hey, these are the ones that tore up my place," and and then all hell breaks loose again, all over again. It was. I enjoyed that character a lot.
It's the most momentous of the series of adventures, I think, back in the early days. I know everyone likes the A series, but I think the G series is like the best. I mean, especially the first two. The third one can drag on because it's so long, but you eventually get to meet the Dark Elves in it. But the first two are fantastic. The weather conditions in the second one makes it difficult. And the first one, the fight, if you want to fight in that room, have at it. Right? And this is what, I'm right here as to what's in this room. 22 hill giants, Nosner's wife, a sub-chief, a cloud giant, 3 stone giants, and don't get hit by one of their boulders. Right? Yeah. 8 ogres and a cave bear. I mean, putting that out on the table is insane.
So it's like if Nosner was just like some kind of barbarian chieftain, he'd be dead. Right? But because he's a hill giant. Now you got to think, do I really want to tangle with this guy? And it's just a scaled up barbarian chieftain with bigger bodyguards.
Yeah,
so, I love him.
That's awesome. And once again, when you're younger, you lose the opportunity for intelligent play of the bad leaders a lot more. When I was younger, so hey, Ron.
Yeah.
How many parties have TPK'd in that room over the decades? I don't know, but I know one of Tim's gnome, Andrus Philandrus, got critical hit with a stone giant boulder for triple. That's 9 to 90. Right, instead of 3 to 30.
Well, full disclosure, my players did not stumble upon that room. They wisely made it underground and started a slave revolt.
That's cool.
And so the battle started
below.
It eventually spilled outside, actually.
Right.
But so it's essentially the same list you read. Just the battle became more dynamic because there was so much chaos going on. Excellent. Good times.
Anna, you're up.
Okay, I'm going to have a type of NPC that I think is cool because it's fills both the role of creating backstory and that could be in the background of the campaign in a lot of ways that the characters and the players aren't even aware of, that the NPC actually really exists. It starts as a legend, and then it kind of grows and tells part of the story, and then you can have that NPC coming actually into the campaign and from the sidelines, so to speak, and be a surprise as well. And in my campaign, it's Egvoreth. I think it's hard to pronounce, from the White Plume Mountain. He is the old druid that is living in the mountain, and he was one of these druid guardians, and Caraptus killed him back in the day. But his soul managed to linger on in the lava pool, and that turns him into some sort of a weird creature, that soul that lingers on with various. You can give him. I've given him. He has like elemental fire powers, and he's like a shade creature in a way. So it's kind of a spirit, almost half spiritual creature. And he's actually from the White Plume Mountain and the Return of the White Plume Mountain. He's there, but in the thing is, I built a cult following of us. So there is a druidic cult that are his disciples, so to speak. That he and the story I gave is that he had daughters that took him up to cherish him and to be on his and to keep his mission going. And his mission is to kill. Or their mission, so to speak, is to kill Caraptus. And Caraptus is this one that returns every generation. He returns. So it's their job to kill the new Caraptus every time, to make sure that he can't come back and do it. So and what I think, and now I'm spoiling. I hope that not too many of my players are watching this, because he is Egworth is actually he's coming back, so to speak. He's still there, but then he can come back later in the campaign and actually be an NPC that can do it. But now he is just a name and someone that is part of the legend, so to speak, and that you can keep in the back burner. And it could be a monster, something that is part of the legend, and then it can actually be real at the end, so to speak. And Egworth is actually, I wouldn't consider him good, but he's on the side of the PCs, so to speak. So it could be someone that could be a major helper at a later point in the campaign.
Excellent. Well, Gabrielle and everyone else, you ready for the cheese? J cheese, going back, way back.
More than cheesecake?
This is yeah. So, how do I start this story? We'll do this. We'll start with the NPC, the character, the personality. You all know I have really hated NPCs in my campaign. There's 3 of them. One of the ones that's most hated is named Gilthanus Markham. All right, let me bring him up. Let me bring a picture of him up here. Here he is. And the miniature is, and the miniature is, he's a duelist, and he's in Altamira. He's part of the adventure group, the Night Stalkers. How he knows what guns are, but he always has people going around and say, you want to kiss the guns here, as he flexes and stuff. Now you say that name Gilthanus is familiar, right? Okay. So, how did this happen? How does a Gilthanus Markham get here? We go to the original Order of Ulick campaign adventures, and we go here to number 19, 20, and 21. What is this? DL 1, 2, and 3. So you only could afford so many, and so I had the 3 Dragonlance adventures. We had a portal open, and we ran some Dragonlance of those 3. When I got to the third one, I was about to poke my freaking eyes out. First of all, it was linear. You had to use I could not stand them. So we're like, that's it. I don't care what happens in this world. We're going back with these characters. And these are like, I don't know, second generation characters. Mark's character, Swain, proposes to the low-level character at that time, Lorana, not knowing who knows what happened to that alternate Dragonlance world. She comes back through the portal into Greyhawk. So Gilthanas is the son of Swain and Lorana Markham in Altamira. Now they're both currently Lorana and they're both dead. There you go. So that's how that happens. Yes.
That was cheesy.
Did not see that coming.
You did not see that coming. Yes, so there's multiple Markham, but that was Mark's character. Gilthanas was Mark's NPC when Mark kind of went to Ohio and doesn't play that much anymore. He's like, you could take over these characters for me. So him and his sister, I use both of them. She's a member of the Knighthood. He's chaotic, total chaotic, neutral chaotic, stupid. He's also the one that wears the artifact. Fiend's Embrace. He has it, and he wears it around town to show it off because he's that stupid. So he walks around with this thing from this adventure he got, and he wears the Fiend's Embrace. Yes. But yeah, they don't let him take it on adventures, so he wears it for color and for style. Yes. Just to show you, chaotic stupid, chaotic neutral can do a lot of dumb things. Yeah. How long is that going to be before that flips on him? Oh man, did I just close out all those things? I bet you I just did. Oh, there's yours. So all right, Mike, you are up. So there you go. I told you that was a massive cheese factor on that one coming up. Forewarned you all.
For a very long time, first and second edition, if that's the time span we're talking, I did not let my players play monks. Why? Because those are bad guys.
Because Gaga said so.
I was just going to say that he will love you. Yeah.
Yeah, I would not let them play. But you'd be damn certain any monks you ran into were always out to kill my players. For what reasons, I cannot remember anymore. But for a while there, the Scarlet Brotherhood was hot and heavy to take down my players' characters. One, you had my namesake, Mortellin, the wizard, played by my friend Brian, and my friend Jason was playing a fighter, a barbarian fighter named Valcon. So those two guys in particular, the Scarlet Brotherhood had out for them. They were sending assassins after them all the time. And so this is kind of like a 2-in-1. Corinth Zan, the father of obedience.
Yes.
One of them dead. Why, I can't remember. But Corinth Zan is another one of these NPCs you see that I would always dangle out there. Father of obedience. He knows all. He controls all. He's I don't need stats on him. I had stats on him in Greyhawk Adventures, I believe.
Yes.
And when we went to 3rd edition, I statted him out just in case, mainly for my own amusement, just to see how tough he was with the new monk classes. But no one was ever going to get into a fight with him because you just know he's going to win, right? He's going to kick your butt.
Yep.
Valconde. So yes, you have the imperious leader, the father of obedience, sending all these assassins after they were in the city of Greyhawk at the time. And where this takes a turn is one of the assassins, that female assassin named Shauna, they somehow, through role play, turned this assassin around. Like the assassins finally figured out they couldn't, they kept losing or whatever. And so Valcon, the fighter, ends up, this is a common theme in my campaigns, he ends up romancing the assassin.
Nice.
Ends up marrying this assassin.
Nice.
So that was like the ultimate defeat of the father of obedience, right? You send all these assassins at us, and now I'm married to one of them. Of course, that just leads to probably more.
So did she go from evil to neutral?
Kind of, probably, yeah.
I had the same thing happen in my campaign.
Yeah. So this was a long-running plot, right? Yeah. So it was fun seeing the progression of that. But were they ever going to get payback on the father of obedience? Yeah, because if you've ever seen in my 2E article, war articles on Greyhawkery, yeah, Mortellin rallies all his forces and takes over the Scarlet Brotherhood.
Oh, thank God.
So all this was a larger plot to eventually turn around to a military campaign where they take over the Scarlet Brotherhood. I think the Father Rabins gets away. I don't remember.
Should have kept that permanent in your game, man.
Yeah, so no Greyhawk Wars happened because they were conquered first. And it's all because they were messing.
No taking over the Sea Princes.
Yeah.
I don't mind them like
it's personal.
Pulp Fiction. I want them to stay as that. That's fine. I don't want I don't want them all over the place. Good one, Mike. That's cool. That's a cool story too. I never heard that one before. That's awesome.
It's a little long-winded, but
that's okay. It's okay. I got one more long-winded one coming too at some point. So. Yeah. All right, Anna, what we got?
Since the roles of sometimes you need a villain that is completely crazy or kind of almost insane. You want them that can literally do anything despicable. I guess in some sense, Marquesa, Carlos Marquesa fills that niche in his campaign. That's something that the players can hate and rightly so to speak, so they don't hold back. And in my campaign, Wayne from the Boneheart, he fills that role. Yeah, Wayne. Yeah, from the lesser Boneheart, the mage Wayne from I Use the Evil. He kind of fills that need, so to speak. He can go haywire and he can be crazy evil and do despicable things. Yep.
Yeah, he's like I used Kranzer. That's who Kranzer aspires to be, is him.
Yep. So I have him as one of the villains. And the problem is that you need to make them disposable in a way, I guess, because the characters might get powerful enough to actually kill them at the end, so to speak.
But he should be resourceful enough, like the Circle of Eight, to come back.
Well, I got a story about that, of course.
Yeah.
So he is in the Eyes of Evil set. He's known as the glutton for punishment all the time. He's always screwing up, right? And he's demoted. He's demoted from a greater Boneheart to a lesser Boneheart.
Yep.
In Expeditions to the Ruins of Greyhawk, he gets killed twice, right? He gets killed. Ayuz raises him in front of everyone, then rips him apart and kills him a second time. Okay, so he dies twice in that adventure. Now, what's really cool is he had a little mini wish curse in my game, and he reappears in a discussion we'll have about a couple other NPCs shortly as the last hurrah in my campaign. After he gets killed in Expeditions, he shows up in a major plot line of mine. Beyond that, as another form of he turns into undead after that for me. So he no vampire thromble stuff. I thought it was pretty neat, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah.
Yeah, and that Jay's a good point where you can have them come back as undeads or whatever, and he can be like the villain in horror movies that has can strike again, so to speak, and he's not really dead, so to speak. So you can keep them you can almost absurdly overuse them just to piss off the players and make sure that they hate him or it. Or she or her or whatever that NPC is at the end, so to speak, or halfway through the campaign. You can almost make them a pastiche of whatever. You can't really go overboard. You can have that type of NPC that can be overly evil and just go for it, so to speak. And you can use it until they're hacked, slashed into pieces 6 times over. Because that's their role to be a target of the wrath of the players, so to speak. And
this guy's not low level either. He was high level, 16th, 17th level. By the way, everyone.
They need to be enough that in the beginning they should be overwhelming, so to speak, and just be, and then eventually they get more in direct contact with them, so to speak.
So I just Facebook messengered Carlos because we got Mitch off there, Mike, Flyers. So now we got to sit on him for 3 years. All right. Yes, I'm talking hockey. I'm sorry, Anna, but you know,
No,
Carlos
no,
is a big
please.
hockey guy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. So where am I going here? Do I go Shieldlands or do I go Hardby next, Anna? You tell me.
Go Shieldlands. I'm curious.
Then we're gonna leave Vane up. Okay.
Okay. Awesome.
One of my earliest ever streams was a mega stream called Events Before David Gradavis's Wedding, which is like the third stream I ever did. So no East, Dale, that doesn't exist. Just kidding. So this was a major event in my Shieldlands campaign. Actually, I have some pictures. I want to show you how. Now this is so old and so cheesy because of you know, just the level of my streaming capability. You know, where did all this stuff go? You know what? It's like I look for stuff and here it is. All right. There we go. Here's some stuff coming up here. All right. So we have some many major PCs and NPCs showing up here. See this guy right here?
Oh,
during the
is
fight?
That Wayne?
That's Panjacek.
Oh.
Okay. So I had him here. This is later on in the fight. So the theory on this was they're going up north toward, Walworth Crossing, Anna. This is that town I made up there that you said you like, which was Walworth.
Oh yeah. I put it in my campaign too.
I really appreciate that. This is Walworth Crossing. So the army of the Shieldlands, one of the armies, and Shieldlanders have always been stupid, right? Look, you know, they just never learn. I had two NPCs, and this is where we go. I had Randall White, W-Y-G-H-T, and his sidekick Chet Bluegrass. And they took the army up and wiped out all these zombies that were here. Started partying. Well, it turns out that in Vane's curse upon himself, he became what was called a zombie master. And he was you can't even see it at the end of this. He could raise any dead corpse each day within 25-mile radius. They're all drunk. The next morning, all the dead bodies are back up, and the army gets slaughtered. That's one of the first adventures I've ever streamed.
It's a cool concept.
It is, isn't it?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So Randall White and Chet Bluegrass got a leg ripped off, and they found him. But Randall, if you ever know what To the Pain is from Princess Bride, and you see this building here, this building is a holdout of, remember, I also throw Fultians in here. That's a holdout of a Fultus temples. The Fultians had come in because of all the open land. So there's 3 Fultus in there. They got Randall White. Well, in there, the Iusians, Vanes, they got rid of both his arms, both his legs, ripped his tongue out, did all sorts of things to him. So the husk of Randall White is in there when the characters come to rescue them. It was you had to kill the entire army. Here's probably another pic. Notice no underlays at this point. There's the back of it, right? With the fights going on with all the zombies everywhere. You had to kill the entire zombie army or anything nearby, find the zombie master, and kill him. But before the next day, or he'd raise the wall. And it's in a 3rd edition. It's a 3.0 monster. I could share it with someone if they want to see it, what book it's in. I have it downstairs. Yeah, you like that? So this is my evilness time. And you can see there were some, there's some characters here. You have David Gradavis. You have, a lot of high-level characters here. And that was the adventure I did. It was a mega series we did live, a first big one. But Randall White and Chet Bluegrass were the leftover remnants of the stupidity of the Shieldlanders during the Greyhawk Wars. That was my whole take on them. All right. Also note, Randall White is still around. Rumor is, sorry, Troy, but I didn't steal this from you. There are automatons like an apparatus of Qualish. Through the Shieldlands is an apparatus of a bullet running around that someone is piloting, and you can't have it. So the rumor is he got his arms back, but not his legs, and he's roaming around in this automaton of a bullet, which I thought was pretty neat. Yes, I've had that, Troy. You can ask anyone for 4 years, so I didn't rip anything off from you. A bullet apparatus machine is running around, and so that was a fun mega campaign in the Shieldlands. Chet Bluegrass, he was the sidekick. He was a Saxon. Randall White was a Cavalier, and Chet was a Saxon. So just there you go, two more, and they were from my own campaign, along with Vane. Vane had his last hurrah after getting killed in expeditions, which I ran right before I started streaming. coming back as a zombie lord, zombie master in that adventure. So there you go. All right, Mike, you're up.
Good stuff. I'm going to stick with my theme of romancing NPCs.
Nice. There's a lot of that. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
well, not as much as it used to, but apparently there was a lot of it in the past of my games, my longer running campaigns. So the double bonus, this, or maybe even triple bonus, this is an old NPC of mine.
Yes.
That I have wrote an article on. Surprise. Okay, so close it here. This is Nura bint Ramil.
Nice.
This is a character that I have used in my campaigns extensively. She's a rogue. She's kind of like this go-between for Abi Dalzim.
I love
All
Abi
right.
Dalzim. Great one.
So what happens in this, and you can read the article yourself, but she's just this, your typical scheming, femme fatale, right?
Trying
Femme fatale, right?
That's me. That's my name. I'm trying to put up his cannon fire one. There we go.
Where this got interesting is one of my. We're playing second edition. It was like, second edition. Where this got interesting was when you hand out a lot of magic items. Often you may forget that you gave players magic items. You know what I mean?
Yeah, have that happen.
And
a lot
then
of times.
like years later they come back like, oh hey, I got this thing on my sheet. I just remembered I'll use it, and then I'll be like, where'd you get that? And you gave it to me. Okay. So this was one of these situations. Nura is like this villain who's toying with them on behalf of Abi Dalzim. She's the go-between. Players are tired of getting bossed around by her and threatened by this big wizard. So one of my players pulls a Sorsha on her. Does anyone know what I mean by that?
Yeah, from Willow.
From Willow.
Oh, okay.
So
changes sides.
He had a filter of love. Right. Now, in second edition, I noticed this has changed, but in second edition, it has two effects. It has enamor and charm. The charm wears off after hours, but the enamor is permanent until dispelled. Mm-hmm. Long story short, Nura goes from the bad guy henchman for Abi Dalzim to the wife of one of the player's characters because of this potion. He tricks her.
Nice.
He also playing a rogue. I think it was like a sleight of hand or something like that. One of them the goblet tricks, that you see in movies, and switching goblets. Yeah, it was a whole thing. It was mind blowing. I let them go with it because it was remarkable that a player would remember items I gave them and then found a creative use for it. Perfect time to use it. So I let him go with it.
Hey, Alex.
Hook her out of play. And I like when my NPCs live, even if they're turned into good guys, like the assassin I mentioned previously, or this one. I like when my NPCs live. I don't want to spend all this time writing backstories of characters and then them die after one encounter. So
it's a good
anyhow.
One.
She's if you want to use her for your own campaign, I've had her wrote up on Cannon Fire for ages. She's linked on my blog, so have at it, Nora.
Absolutely. How many? So you have this one. I did Nazim bin Khalifa. Remember during the fundraiser for Abi Dalzim. Yep. Do you have any other Abi Dalzim? You should do a tree of all the Abi. I'm serious, and Mike, I'm dead serious. You should do that and publish it in the Visions of Greyhawk. All the Abi Dalzim followers.
That's really all I got, because the story is that she is the public face. She works in the city of Kester, and people don't believe that Abi Dalzim's alive.
Right.
And so she can kind of get away with certain things because they don't know what his status is. I guess he could accumulate more henchmen over time. But when I first concocted this, it was just him and her. It was just a two-man operation. plus undead.
Right. It's always plus undead, isn't it?
Plus
undead.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Excellent. All right, Anna, you're back up. That was a good. I love that one, Mike. That's a great one.
Yep, that's a good one. I'm going to go a little bit with the same theme here, and have a character, an NPC that or personality that it can both be a temptation and can also kind of mess with the players with the story in that sense that can add a complication. But in this case, she is also, really a temptation, something that could arouse the interest of the character or two.
That's true.
But also something that I'm going to. This is a character or an NPC from my Rel Devin campaign that I'm now going to reintroduce into my Shieldlands campaign a little bit, because sometimes you want to reuse your old NPCs because that way you can tie things together and you don't need to invent the wheel every time, so to speak. And this is a character. Her name is Ubika Darman. She is she's one of the high Silchus priests from Karlstrand. And she's highly connected to Silchus priest, and she and her job is she's a consultant. You don't find that many consultants in the world of Greyhawk, but she is a consultant. She is your business consultant, or your if you're a ruler and you want someone to advise you so you can be very successful and profitable and so on. She is your person that can do it, so to speak. She's a high princess of the House of Darman, means she's very, very powerful out of tradition, so to speak. She's rich beyond mortal means, so to speak. She has a dragon hoard of gold stashed away somewhere in various things. And she also and she is out there in the world for fun, so to speak, and for profit, of course. But it's so and she is a very, very, very attractive, somewhere in her high 30s, so to and she is out there consulting and acting as an kind of an ambassador for Karlstrand. But her real job is just to talk into, well, her cover story in the campaign is that she is an ambassador for Karlstrand. Her real job as an NPC is to confuse the players and to give them conspiracy theories and to launch lies and stuff into the campaign. She's not evil per se. She's just pursuing her own interests, and she can be very seductive and stuff. And she's not there to be killed per se. And her defenses are, she of course has a couple of bodyguards, very, very able people from Karlstrand. But the thing is that if the players get really angry at her and kills her, that means that they now have a major enemy in the House of Darman and the Church of Silchus and stuff. So she can be a bait in more ways than one, so to speak. And she will introduce some truths and some conspiracy theories and stuff like that. So I have her more as a way of adding flavor to the campaign, so to speak. Things that I don't want to say directly as a DM. I don't want to explain things. So I have one of the NPCs explain things in an in-campaign way, so to speak. So she's like a living prop. Instead of giving documents and stuff, I have an NPC that can go in and fill some of these things. So she can both complicate things, she can obfuscate things, and she can be a temptation and a trap, all in one, so to speak. That's her role. Yep.
Question.
Yep.
For all of you in the audience, and Anna and Mike, in my campaign, what is the best played PC in the game on my campaign?
PC, you said?
Yes. Who plays him? I thought this was going to be an easy one.
The one with the longest title ever?
No, not Sir Reginald Rathmore, David Errol, Champion IV, Defender of the Faith, and Vanquisher of the Unrighteous. No!
Damn.
Eric Mona's Venarium
Oh
Vord.
yes, of course.
Right?
Yes.
Venarium Vord himself. I had to put him in. I had to add him. He is.
Yes.
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 Okay.
Congrats, Eric.
Yes. And Anna helped me with the Milky Eye and everything because you can't do that in Portrait Workshop. Relishes. Yes. So what an addition this character, which gets played once or twice a year on my channel. And in Greyhawk, but my God, they are such a treat every time he plays. So just note, he's chaotic neutral. Kind of got off on the wrong foot the first time when he stole the Tongaroo Pajero Blood Moon from everyone.
He gets off on the wrong foot every time and somehow survives it. Yep.
Thanks, Thank you for that. Yes. And he stole it and sold it off, and no one knows where it is now. But then he kind of got along with it because, he's chaotic stupid, chaotic neutral. He's not getting in the order of your look no matter what Troy says ever because he's not good alignment. But he's an entertaining little distraction cog change up in the good versus evil plight that goes on in my campaign, which there's a lot of those characters. So once again, I threw them in there. We're talking about our favorite personalities. This is probably, as far as player characters go, there are some fantastic player characters from my players.
Is he a character though that you would ever be tempted to NPC?
No, because then it's not Eric's. Right?
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. So I want Eric to come back and play him as much as possible. So
I used to do that a lot back in the days. Reason why I'm saying, if I had like these shared campaigns, I'm running this group and that group, and I want to move some story along, like Anna's saying, well, I'd be like, oh well, Valcon is, you go into Valcon's bar and he, gives you this, sword, and so this other group would be like, ooh, ah.
So let me rephrase that. You will see on a once in a blue moon, like they're in the inn, and a group comes in. I'll have Ed's group. I'll have 2 drink minimum sitting there, and I'll pretend there's characters. That's like a conversation piece. That's not playing them in a group or whatever. And I'll do that. I have, just because of the interactivity.
Cameo.
Yeah, cameo, exactly. Yeah. But I like Ravalantar, Ed's group. All of Anna's. Luke Gygax's character, Eliador, my good friend Todd Stashwick's character. There you go. I got it in. Morton Didif. I'm not going to NPC them. Because I want them to come back and interact in the campaign. And Venarium Vord is one of those. Well, everyone loves the character when he comes out. And, we'll make Eric will be back not that long from now. Well, if you consider definitely October for October 8th during the Ask the Experts finale show on that, and then definitely for the fundraiser next year. But before, we'll see if we can get him in sometime before that too. So that was mine. I wanted to bring up was the legendary Venarium Vord, priest of Relishes. So there you go. All right, Mike, you're up.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I'm going to go back to the City of Greyhawk because there's just so many memorable characters in there for me. And the most obvious one, even before Organization, the most obvious one from the get-go. Every time I run City of Greyhawk, first name that comes up in my player's lips is Glodretti back in it.
Oh, the tax collector.
Is Glodretti still here? And I'm like, yes, Glodretti's still here. The dwarven tax
he isn't
collector.
going anywhere.
Because anytime you're bringing in treasure, he's there, want his cut.
A lawful evil dwarf.
Right. And it's nothing that, I never played him as antagonistic. He was just someone whose name kept coming up. And so it came to the point where I didn't even have to use him. It always became this scheme, this tax evasion scheme my players had to do on principle. Like, oh, can't let Glodretti have our money. We got to sneak this stuff, in from Castle Greyhawk. We got to sneak it into our bar and, go through the Undercity or something. It was amazing. To this day, I could draw up his name, and that's one of them guys that make my
that's a great one.
Cringe.
And another goes to show you, evil has its place in tax collection as long as it's under control.
So if I ever flexed him as a NPC and did something offensive, break in their house, start, hauling off their goods. That would be something. But no, this was all on the up and up.
It was. It's all in the legal
Yeah.
system, and the law here is the fines are so severe in Greyhawk for screwing around.
And because I ran the court system on them, that's why another reason why they were always afraid of running afoul of them.
Yeah.
Is because I would drag them into court.
Yeah, it definitely is a great one. Really a good one there, just because of it. Actually, you get satisfaction from running something that you don't have to be underhanded with, and it drives them crazy. I mean, seriously, but all politicians are underhanded, but underhanded right out in the open. So, yeah.
And it's doubly fun because he's a dwarf.
Yeah.
You can play that miserly dwarf, and he has the full backing of the city.
Absolutely.
So it's like, whoa, you're going to kill the head of the tax collectors? Well, forget ever being a citizen of the city then.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. Good one. Awesome.
Worse than a dragon, really.
Yeah.
He's going to do it right to your face. Anna?
Yeah, I have another NPC that we started to get into ones that are more favorites in some sense. And the type of NPC is the one that as a DM you refuse to let them die, so to speak. That whatever the characters do, you want to reintroduce them. And this campaign, that honor goes to Vakunis. He is the Iusian demonic, one of Wayne's underlings and henchmen, and a local kind of villain, so to speak, a regional villain. And the thing is that the player characters managed to kill him in the second session of the campaign early on, so to speak. So now I have to rewrite the story of him a little bit and stuff, so he can come back.
Can you have him cloned?
No, I don't have him cloned. He actually has he has a kind of a safe fallback. So if he gets killed, he gets drawn back into his tome. He has a demonic tome, so to speak, that is kind of his phylactery in a way, so to speak. So he lives in that tome and causes mischief. But I'm going to reintroduce him more like the hapless, the villain that he will try anything just to go on. He will never succeed with anything, really. And since Wayne has issues, then Bakun is going to try and replace him. And so we'll see a little bit where he goes. But
awesome.
He's the kind of the villain that refused to die. I'm not going to. He will be in the campaign somehow, whatever happens, so to speak. And I'm going to see if I can be the GM contortionist and really try to. It's like the script writers in a Bond movie where Bond gets cornered and they have to find a new way of getting him out of trouble. So I want to somehow see if I can keep Bakunis in the campaign no matter what happens. So it's going to be my kind of see how I can skew things and make sure that he's still there somehow, so to speak. So and he's not that dangerous. Well, kind of, but he started out evil and he was supposed to be an evil mastermind. That didn't work. So now I have to reskin him a bit and do something else with him. So we'll see what the campaign necessitates. Yeah, so he rebrands himself every 10 sessions or something into something else. Yep.
Hey, thank you so very much for coming in. Good to see you all. Thanks for the message too. We'll get together and definitely do that. Really appreciate that raid in. That is awesome. I'm hitting the wrong buttons trying to say thank you, but it's good to see Razzmatazz and crew. Thank you so very much. We're talking top personalities of Greyhawk tonight. And another good one. So you kind of Harry Pottered him a little bit. You Horcruxed him a little bit. Which is okay. It makes phylacteries and all that make perfect sense. So, yep, I really appreciate that raid. Thank you, Razzmatazz. Good to see you. Yep. So, I'm going to go over 2. Hardby. We had a big internal war in Hardby over the last 2 years between a published source NPC and a player character who turned into an NPC because it was one of our Mark's characters. This is, in fact, Judge Alita Norbalos, who works with the Slavers. She's right in
great Wayne Reynolds art.
Yeah, great Wayne Reynolds art. She is a judge. She is in line for the despotrics and evil and conniving, and actually works with the slave lords. She went up against the most hated character in my campaign of all time, player character, the legendary Priest of Zilchis, Michael Baton, which is one of Mark's characters. Why do you say he was so hated? When he started out for a second level, he charged for healing. That gets you hated amongst anything. He charged to for people to be healed. Yeah, well, from there, the war got worse and worse between his faction, the Zilchis town, church, and Alita, and it became public, along with a lot of pictures of fires everywhere. This is actual from streams. Lighting ship. Alita didn't care. This is the wrong ship. She didn't know which ship to target, so she targeted them all. So she lit the wrong one on fire in this. Big fights going on. There's thugs. The dock workers are working for her, and they're beating people to death. It was a great fight. This is also the fight where Anna, that Tim took his band out into the beach and they got blown up. Right, all the red called the red shirts. That was the joke behind it.
I love that smoke and fires there.
Yeah. Build-A-Master Crafter stuff. I'll show you afterwards after they get the fire out in that ship. So there's a blow up of it. Going on of that. Yeah, really some cool stuff. And then here is the town. They sealed off the Zilchis church so no one could get out, kind of like in that Mel Gibson Patriot movie, and then they lit it up and burned everyone alive inside.
Damn, Ubika Dorman will be their villain enemy for life now. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So only 1 or 2 of them got out. Michael Baton was, taken, and the fight. So the burning went into the city with this. This is, as you can see, there's the after effects. I put all the wreckage on the boat there from the fires they're trying to clean up afterwards. There's actually the Michael Baton figure right there. I don't want to show it that long because it's one of those. What's the company where you make your own 3D miniatures and send them?
Oh, okay. Yeah, we can't mention that name.
Yeah, I don't have specific permission to use it, so screw you, whatever that company is. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. So, but that's why I don't show the miniature that much. But that's Michael Baton, and all the other fun stuff we were doing here. It was a great thing. This is the final scene where Michael appears here. This is in the southern point in Hardby, and Alita hires assassins from our wonderful city of divers to kill him publicly and then cut his head off. Yes, and that all happened live stream, everyone. So there you go. Now, fun stuff. It was a fun time. So there were no good guys in that fight. The characters all got sucked into it, even though they didn't want to. And Alita won in the end. So the only other thing is Michael Baton is now wandering about the Woolly Bay as a non-disintegrating revenant. So we'll see what happens from that. But just to give you some stories on my Hardby with a published source character interacting with a PC. And that was a fun time. So absolutely, old man. And you're more than welcome here anytime. You are welcome. Just note my campaign's in its 43rd consecutive year. Thank you. And we've been cranking. We've been cranking here. And, Anna is the legend of map making. Mike is the legend of the great blog posts. And the communities are here. Let me give you all some Discord servers you can join. Here's Cannon Fire. Please, someone link the new Cannon Fire Visions of Greyhawk publication, which just came out from the community. Please link that. And then here is Greyhawk Events Discord, because we have Virtual GreyHawkCon coming up in October. Sign-ups start Saturday. Sign-ups and putting in events start Saturday for it. It's a 4th annual. All right, one more round. Sound good? And we'll do shout-outs.
I was reading 128's post here about Gargoth from Descent into Avernus. I played in that. Can't remember if we ran into that NPC, that Archdevil or not, but yeah, that is one of the cool things about the Nine Hells is the variety of archdukes and devils and things and all the politics and whatnot. I mean, you could do a whole show just on those characters. Anywho, so you say one more round?
Yeah, one more good one, and
Tough,
if we got
tough one.
yeah.
I'm just gonna zing out then two quick City Greyhawk ones because they're my two best left. So my players are obviously afraid of Gulladretti for the tax collecting, right? But the first NPC that they will actively seek out in the city is Krondratus Bubka.
Yes, a great one.
The mage of
superior identifier.
The magic mark guy.
Yep.
He has superior identifier and all that stuff. So if you're wanting to buy, trade, and sell magic items, this is the guy to facilitate in the biggest city.
Here he is.
Of course, he has his dark side, but
he's neutral.
Yeah, well, there's certain subplots in the book. Anyhow, but yeah, he's neutral. He's no bones about it. He's accurate. So you're not going to get one buy on both basically. So it's just an NPC that my players would often go to, and sometimes they would not be happy with the deals they got. But hey, where else are you going to sell your stuff, right? Now, as to City Greyhawk NPCs, the one that I thought was also interesting is Tigran Gelner.
Yeah,
is the commander of the Cairn Hills Force, right? He's this old, gruff, like middle-aged warrior that obviously, like his title says, he protects the Cairn Hills. He's like very respected by all the rulers in the city.
Can't find it.
And where he came into play in my campaign was one of my players, Valkondane, who is character Valkondane. As a hero, he rose into a position where he was appointed the commander of the Cairn Hills Force, and Tigran reluctantly became his second in command. All right.
Tigran Gelner's a great one.
Yeah. So what happened eventually? So Tigran, he's this old. I play him like this old gruff cowboy type, John Wayne, whatever. A guy you could trust. He's not going to double cross anybody. Well, others in the City Greyhawk were double crossing. I framed my player's character, drug him through court. He got exiled from the City Greyhawk, and but the most heart-wrenching part of it was when I sent Tigran Gelner to arrest his character. And they were friends, and he had to slap the old manacles on him. He's like, "I'm sorry, I have to do this." Slap the manacles on him, and we still talk about that moment to this day because his my friend's character is like, he has a girl of giant strength. He could bust those manacles if he wanted, but he let Tigran manacle him and take him through that kangaroo court because he respected Tigran so much that he would play along with that. So yeah, that's why they don't all have to be villains. Some of them, you got to have NPCs that you can trust sometimes, and then you can have some real memorable moments like that.
So, trivia question. Well, a yes or no. Did you know that in published fanon, there is the daughter of Krondratus Bubka in published source?
Whoa. No, I did not know that.
Here we go. I'm sorry, it's mine.
Awesome.
Let's go to Earth Journal 29, the Free Swords of Greyhawk City article that I did back when I was allowed to write for it. We come and we go back here to, I'm sorry, that was
Barbie.
Yeah. So Greyhawk City Free Sword Mercenary Groups. We go down to the very last one, the Gnarly Men. Okay. And Gnarlyman is my Greyhawk kids. By the way, I'm doing this. I don't think I'm streaming it, but Monday I'm off from work, and we're doing my son and some of his friends get to run this group. Olga Bubka, right here. She's a quasi-elementalist. So she was kidnapped by a group of Orogs and ogres out in the Cairn Hills, and they kind of rescued her, and she joined their group. She is a spellcaster, and that is Kendratus Bubka's daughter.
Nice.
Yep. So I NPC her.
I love second generation.
Thanks, characters. Man. So, yep. This is artwork by William Henry Dvorak here. So there you go.
Oh, awesome.
Just wanted to note that connection when you brought Kendratus Bubka up.
Cool.
Yep. Thanks a lot. All
I'll
right.
keep that in mind.
Yep. What do we got, Anna?
Okay, so what do you do in Greyhawk when you get you need something that with the Greyhawk flair, and you're tired when you want a master villain or the biggest boss monster possible, so to speak, and the Tarask is kind of, you bored with it, and you might be also that realize that the Tarask is too generic. What do you want? You want a Greyhawk boss monster that is so epic that the characters can, meaning you need to see are off the scale, so to speak, and the Tarask is too generic. It doesn't go to tie into the Greyhawk stories and stuff. Well, I have the boss monster for you. So it's from Greyhawk lore. It actually, and if you tweak it a little bit and start looking into Greyhawk, it actually appears twice in Greyhawk lore. And I'm talking about the monster on the old Iusian shield that is a snake that bites its own tail. Yes, kind of, but it has a name in the Greyhawk lore called Moxlick.
Oh, wow.
And Moxlick is the world serpent, Greyhawk style, so to speak. And meaning Greyhawk, meaning Moxlick is that kind of the nastiest big snake, evil snake, so to speak, of history. And there is another kind of monster that was introduced, I think, in the Living Greyhawk story into Great Kingdom that fits that bill, the Abyssal Maw, that was sent back by the Night Protectors. You can have that be Moxlick, and that is can be, and that way you can have a master boss monster that is tied to Greyhawk story, appear on heraldry, has a name, and is part of the legend of the setting, so to speak, and that you can make into, meaning if you go off the charts with the stats and stuff, that's the one you can do. You can make it hundreds of yards long or whatever, and have.
Where's it from, Anna?
It depends. The Moxlick name.
Because it looks like Nurker spelled it right.
Yeah, Moxlick. Yeah, Moxlick. Yep, exactly. Yeah, no, Von Malku. Yeah, he spelled it right.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. So it's it's part of the story. I'm not sure. Let's see if anyone can. I'm going to do a search here and see where we can. Where I can find it. Hang on a second. Moxlick.
Yeah, wow.
See.
While you're doing that, I'll set my last one up.
Yeah. So Moxlick. It's on the Greyhawk wiki. So
okay.
I'm going to go there and see if I can find.
Is it from the Vecna comic, Norker says?
Okay, good. Thank you. Yeah.
No, he's asking. Is it from the Vecna
That might be. Hang on a second here. So let's see here.
What's up, Dave? Dave, did you get your book yet that I sent? You may have gotten it today. Or you may get it tomorrow. I forget it was 2 days or 3 days. So
it's Earth Journal 27, Dragon Magazine 256, Vecna Hand of the Revenant, Vecna Reborn, Dragon Magazine 348. And Vecna Reborn, yeah. So Moxlick is appearing in numbers of multiple places. So it's definitely a critter from the stories, so to speak, and in published lore. And the thing you need to do, I guess, is to for me, I tied it and say that that's actually the Abyssal Maw, and tied it into old Flan history, so to speak,
Gary.
and Flan legend and stuff. So you can tweak it, and you can simply give it stats that are ridiculously big, so to speak. If you want the ultimate boss monster, I think Moxlick fits the bill, so to speak. And you want it not to be a generic thing that you have in other campaigns. So I think it's kind of cool. You can build it into. So yeah.
Charles, I don't know that one. Queen Galathrin, Mirror Queen of the Valley of the Mage. Is that from Dewey Carthon's references or not? No, I've never used that, or even didn't know that there was a world. I know there was a world Serpent Inn.
Yeah,
I didn't know
Arendagrost. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Aboleths are in Greyhawk. Absolutely. 100%. Aboleths are Greyhawk. Yeah, definitely.
Yep. And it's kind of cool because Arendagrost could be the origin name. They called it Arendagrost, and the Flan name could be Moxlick, and you can kind of tweak it
just like
and
Sasquatch or Abominable Snowman, Yeti, or right. That's cool. Very, very cool. That's a great one. I'm going to go out with a dud.
Uh-oh.
So when in 1987. My adventure, we're down. We took a road trip down to see Mark, who was staying with his sister down in Fairfax, Virginia. Myself, and Walt and Tom and the ever mysterious Tim, and we had run 2 adventures that day, that weekend. And we had time for a third, so I did the land clearing one. They wanted to get this land in the County Hewlett. It turns out that's the Free City of Altamira to this day. Well, when they got there, there was one guy there who's kind of he's grandfathered in, and if you've ever seen him, there's some pictures. Here's that area of the market, and there he is standing in the middle. And I'll blow it up a little more, and I'll show you the portrait workshop I have him. Here's an NPC that just lives in everyone's hearts. And what does he sell? Kumquats. He is the original seller of kumquats here, and that is and there's our picture.
The rest is history.
Yeah, and that is the legendary Hoops. So is he 0? I don't even stat him up. Is he 0 level? Is he? And he's probably a little bit uglier than this portrait workshop I did for him. But there you go. There's Hoops with his kumquats. But yes, just to note that I can do little pissy NPCs that serve only other purpose, either for comedy or for just a little bit of a little joke there. Yeah. So shade voices, yes. So I'm going to finish it up with Hoops in mine. And what's amazing, besides one, I got my entire list done. One I didn't get, which we've talked about before. But yeah. So
nice.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I saved Buron for he's one of my top personalities, but I mentioned him so many times that I thought he.
I miss Bladestorm, but I've talked about her 100 times.
Yeah.
I had a Duke Zephyrin story on my list, but I'll save that for another
time. That's awesome. Duke Zephyrin. Yep. So awesome. Return of Gord. I had Marangul the Ancient. Yeah, the Return of Gord also features an interesting evil Grey Dwarf assassin. So Durgar. Right, Grey Dwarf Durgar, right? Yeah. Big Mac, Dragon Magazine has some content on the Society of the Serpent.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's great, Mac. Thank you for getting that to us. Awesome. So, we didn't go in from a 10 to 1. I figured we just talk about the top ones that you really liked. Around. Yes. And, went very obscure. Well, not that obscure, but we did a lot of our own homebrew, and we did a lot of published sources that are lesser known. Because you could always do,
because if I did a legit top 10 my favorite Greyhawk NPCs, it's going to be none of those characters.
Okay.
Because it's probably going to be your Mordenkainens and your Tenzers and Igwills and etc. Mm-hmm. So I like talking about these second tier NPCs, I would call them.
And the reason that that's great is it just shows that the development all three of us have taken over the years.
A lot of depth.
Of characters, and they're published. You had yours in Cannon Fire. I had mine in the Earth Journal, one of them. Anna has hers all over the place, right? And we have, and that's the thing. Melf, yes, male elf.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Although Melf, here's the thing, Mike. Melf in From the Ashes has no bearing to what Luke has, because he's like head of the Lights of Luna. When did that happen? So
Yeah.
exactly. And then I have the son of Melf in my campaign, Eleator. So that's some fun things there. It's generational again.
Yeah. No, Gary. See, if I mention Eli Tomarist, he is my top 10 NPCs. Period.
Yeah.
But he's, well, we're talking about others.
We went down a notch. We stayed away from a lot of them. Now Orgnension was,
guys that don't get enough mention.
Everyone knows the Circle of Eight. We tried to stay away from those. I could have said Drelsna too, Lareth the Beautiful, or some of the other ones I may have thrown out there that are just like
why talk about the Circle of Eight? We should talk about their henchmen.
Absolutely.
From Vecna Lives.
Well, also, one of them is a henchman of Sir Robilar, who's now a gnome.
Ooh, yeah.
Bigby was. We found that out from Rob Kuntz a couple weeks ago. Cobb Darg, there you go. We have no idea what he is, and that's from Iron Gate, correct? Yeah. Queege, that's another one. Yeah, there's some great ones.
I've drawn Queege one.
That's awesome. Geller. Yeah, Geller's good in the Gore novels, too. I agree there. Rex Ellis.
He's great.
Geller was really good. There's a lot of and just goes to show that there is some depth into Greyhawk. You just need to know where to look. And that's one of the things why I would highly recommend those Living Greyhawk Journal Gazettes. Man, there's a lot of really cool content in there that has been lost to time. That's why we've done a lot of discussions on Legends and Lore about them, and had Eric Mona on and some of the other people on to discuss them, like Stewart and Paul Luby and all, because it's just we don't want that stuff getting lost to time.
Yeah,
absolutely. All right, so getting close.
NHL draft update, Jay.
What are they taking a 20-second?
The Flyers now have defenseman Oliver Bonk.
Radek Bonk's son?
Yes.
No. Do you know Radek Bonk is an NPC of mine in Greyhawk?
Yeah.
He's a half-orc fighter thief.
Yeah.
What's his name? Oliver Bonk. Now I got to do that. Now I got to put him in.
Now you got to get that jersey.
Yeah.
Bonk.
Basilica of Ernst is a character I'd like to explore.
Well, that was one of my.
Yeah, Mike talked about him early on. Gary. We did discuss him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was on my. So very cool. All right, so let's do some shout outs, see what's going on the rest of the week, and we'll go from there. So. And then we do two giveaways tonight because of all the massive hype train we had. So, Mike, what do you got? What do you got cooking?
Like you mentioned, I have another Sea Prince's Noble up on Greyhawkery.
Yeah, let me see if I
let's see, in Rich's campaign, we're still doing underwater stuff. So that's progression. I was just looking at it because he keeps write-ups of all the sessions. We've been doing this campaign for over 2 years now. Where's the time going? I've ran campaigns that long before, but I've never been in someone else's campaign that long. It's the longest campaign that I've been a player in.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, it's crazy. Otherwise, Gen Con in 5 weeks, I think.
Nice.
We'll see how that goes, right, Dale? So I got that to look forward to. That's about all I know. Yep.
So good to hear from you, Mike, and thanks for this topic. That was a fun discussion.
Yeah, we'll see what I pull out of my hat next week.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And whether Anna's going to be on or not, because it's 4:00 in the morning.
Exactly.
There.
Yes, but hopefully I can be on next week too. So we'll see. I might be out and about. So we'll see what dates, or it might be that I can be here or not, so to speak. But I'm sorry.
What's your return date to the U.S.?
July 11th. I'm flying back on July 11th.
Okay.
If there's no big riots in Paris or something, because that my flight was going through. I'm flying from Gothenburg to Paris and then Paris to LA.
Am I missing something? What's going on in Paris?
Oh, there were just some protests yesterday, so
okay.
I'm just being silly because the French always protest. So we'll see what happens. So yeah, but so I have a couple of more. What is it, like 12 days here? So it will be a lot of write-ups. But I have one thing that is just supposed. I think it's done. Mark from Noble Dwarf, he sent me a message yesterday saying that my merch store is ready to be launched. So hopefully it's very, yeah, it's imminent, so to speak. And he seems to have done a great job adding tons of stuff. So there will be heraldry maps, t-shirts, and a whole bunch of stuff that comes in. Most of it will be, it's nonprofit, so a lot of the heraldry and derivative work and stuff, I don't profit from that as by the fan creation rules. But there's some t-shirts and stuff that will be like this that you can buy, and some other stuff that I've done that is not derivative work from Wizards of the Coast or TSR, so to speak. So we're trying to make sure that the stuff is actually compliant with the fan creation rules as well. So that's part of it. It's the first. There will be a lot of heraldry and stuff like that. So there's some posters and T-shirts and what's not. I haven't even looked at half the stuff yet. So there's a bunch of stuff he added. So I've given him Mark. Lots and lots and lots of files and stuff, so he can create things, mugs and stuff like that too. I think with heraldry and stuff on it. Yep. So that is coming. I'm doing a lot of writing and stuff, and I haven't posted as much as I should, but it's coming. So when I get back, I will have a ton of backlog. There's more heraldry and stuff coming too. But I'm working on my laptop, so I'm a little bit constrained when it comes to, I can't do any heavy map lifting and stuff. But it is coming.
That's
so
me
I'm
all the time.
Yeah. So I'm sorry that I'm been on vacation or away from my desk and real Greyhawk work for a month and for 5 weeks. So it's kind of at the end. So I'm kind of sorry that I've taken some time off, but I needed it after 6 years. So I will be back, and I have tons and tons of cool ideas, and that are 2/3 or 3/4 developed. So there will be more things coming.
You also got a big shout out from Luke on the lettering for the Gary
Con. Oh yes, that's one of the things I worked on Gary Con stuff too. So we got the Jeff D, I think it was, that did the background image and stuff. So we worked on logos and various other things for upcoming Gary Con, since Gary Con is extra big next year. So
extra big. I already have my badge.
Oh, cool.
I already have my badge. The platinum and the diamonds were already offered their badges, and I already bought mine.
Awesome.
So yeah, we had to jump on it early. So I'm looking for something here. So Anna, were you proud of me that I was able to get the Greyhawk Con stuff done on my own this year?
Yeah.
You know, so let me show you this real quick here. So everyone, it's Saturday on the 30th. No, wait a minute. No, it's wait a minute, June 30th. Thank you. Yep, GaryCon's awesome. So is that? No, it's Friday. It's Friday sign up start. So I will have it maybe set on midnight, 12:01 Thursday night, and I'm gonna go live. Remember, it's just to register and to put events in. Virtual GrowdCon 4 Adventures in Greyhawk. Here's the ode to the cover. Thank you, Troy, for Dan Smith getting this done. You know, it's really cool. So Adventures in Greyhawk, Virtual GrowdCon 4 with the dates. Even made it a little translucent there, Anna. So I think I'm getting my act together with it.
You get your Photoshop mojo here.
Yes, and the T-shirts are already ordered, everyone. So you know, they will be in within a week or two. And just note that you can order them already. The site has the inventory levels up. It's, you know, I can always do reorders, but they're there if you want to get one. Just some people collect them for every year. So Virtual GrowdCon 4, yes, it's the 4th one coming, and sign-ups begin Friday. I thought it was Saturday, but it's actually Friday. I gotta make sure I have that go live. So there you go. All right, And there's tabletop events, and you can get your games in that you want to put into DM, and just it's a nominal fee of $5 just to cover the cost of TTE. All right, and that is, we're all excited about that. All right, here's what's going on the rest of it. Tomorrow, my continuing rework of the awful Doom Grinder continues. And I haven't had one in 50-some adventures, and it's Portents of Great Apocalypse Part 5, and it's called The Ruined Temple of Salacra. And you're like, who the hell's Salacra? Well, if you all remember on a Gabbin a little while back, when we were talking about deities, Ed Greenwood created a demigod of Ralashaz for us named Salacra, the Crawling Fire. And so it's going to tie in, so that will be...
All right.
Yes. Thank you, Ed.
Good.
So I get some new Fanon stuff from a legend, and we'll incorporate that in. And this will take place near the Doom Grinder. I use that windmill for spinning purposes. So we are ready to rock and roll on that. And here, I'll just throw up one. The terrain's already set. Let's see if I can see a picture of there we go. There's a side picture of there. I use that for the Doom Grinder, but yeah, Hidden Temples, the Ruined Temple Salacra. They're actually not that close, but I only have an 8-foot by 8-foot table, so, and that will be tomorrow night. That'll be multi-weeker, okay, and that is tomorrow. Then Saturday morning for a lot of you have a 4-day weekend. 9 a.m. is a special Overgord adventure because Mike begged me, Mike Disney. So Vengeance of the Overgord. We're doing I'm doing it pre-Halloween because why not? The Overgord's eternal in my Greyhawk, and so we have a great cast here. Rob Phantom may be on here, and as long as the other ones we have 2 people, Zambies and Terror from Terror, have never played before, which is great. So we get to get them in. Monday. I have another game. This is Saturday, right? This is Saturday morning, 9 a.m. It'll be a morning game because I'm going to have some festivities going on all weekend. It's on Canada Day. Oh, there you go. Canada Day is July 1st. I did not know that there, Patrick. Note, I also have a game on Monday morning. By the way, Gavin, Sunday night, Inked Mage is not confirmed yet. If he's doing this Saturday or this Sunday or next Sunday, so I'm not sure what my topic for Gavin's going to be yet until I know if Inked Mage is going to be on. So we'll work on that. But Monday, I'm playing a Grail Kids game. My son's has some friends coming over. I'm not streaming it because they're all 13, and I don't want to have to get permission from every set of parents for them to pull. You know what I mean? So unless that happens in some weird thing, it's not going to be a stream game. It's just going to be me playing with my son and friends. But that's it. 4 streams this week, coming up. So let's do the giveaways. Sound like a plan?
Yeah.
2 of them. One of you, the first one, or the second one, if the first one doesn't take it, these are the reprinted, fixed Ravens Rooks. Will sent me. I'll give away one of these as part of these reprints if you so choose. Okay. Because he sent me some, so I'll add that in. One of those can be taken. All right. That's what I think. I think it's fixed, yeah. All right, let me, last call here. All right, good. Get some people in. Close it out. We'll do 2 winners. Hey, you never know. It always, Bane, that works sometimes. Last in, first out. Sometimes that works. It used to work for Rich all the time. Here we go.
Casey also likes doing that.
Lando, first winner. Second winner, Boyd Jones. I just saw, I think, go in. So there you go, Boyd. Boyd, I think you're in you're in Cannon Fire Discord just recently, right? So Boyd, what do you want since you're a newer person to the community? I have the Ravens Rook. I have Against the Giants. I have Treasures of Greyhawk reprint. I have a Ravenloft. I have a Tomb of the Lizard King still. Shady Dragon Inn. Palace of the Silver Princes. So I got a whole bunch of stuff. So, and then Ravens Rook is another one too. Against the Giants, you got it. Please whisper me full name and address. You can do it here or you can do it Discord to Lord Gazumba, either one, okay? All right. I need full name and address because I don't think I've ever sent you anything. And then I'll get with Lando. I got him, so Lando's DMing right now his game. So he's lurking. So we got to give him, okay? Thank you, everyone. Anna, thanks for coming on.
Oh, thank you.
That was a great one.
Get some rest.
Who are we rating into?
Yep, I will. It's bright and not sunny, but it's sun is up already. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Thank you, everyone, for the
like
really great hype train. I'm turning this off. It's blinding me. Mm-hmm. Thank you. We really appreciate the support tonight. Gosh, I'm having trouble with this. I got Wednesday night. Usually has the most streams on. I did Phoenixy last time. All right, I got someone. I'll surprise you all. Okay. See you all tomorrow night, 7:30. Infinite Dimension Games giveaways and 1 Reaper giveaway. So 3D print stuff and Reaper minis. So yeah, everyone can win something. 7:30 on. It'll probably run to around 11. And you know, that'll continue things, and we'll see you after that on Saturday. Everyone have a good one. See you. Bye-bye. It's good to be back. Second stream here. Let me set up the raid. God, they got so much. They keep on switching stuff, and then I'm like, where the heck is it? It's annoying. Mac, if you're there, I'm going to raid into all Dragon. I know he's doing some Lego stuff, but I'm going to raid into all of them. He's making something. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See you tomorrow night. Thanks. Yeah, why not?
Yep, it did.
Awesome show, guys.